Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 32 of the Diz Unlimited podcast, coming to you live from the studio that dreams build. I'm Rhino, and I'm going to be leading our fun Disney discussion today, along with Hannah Anderson.
Hey, hey.
And Craig Williams.
Hoy, hoy.
And just a reminder that this and everything that we do is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. They are experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. When you book with them, it costs you nothing extra on your trip, and you help support the channel and all the content that we produce. So check them out, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com, for a free, no-obligation quote today. And a big thank you to our Patreon supporters out there. We couldn't do it without you. If you want to learn how you can get exclusive content from different members of the Diz team, like a Patreon live post show that we are going to be doing following this show. That's right, because it's post, not pre. So it's after, not before. Patreon.com/DizUnlimited. And if you are out there joining us for this live stream on a Thursday, yeah, you heard me, on this Thursday, well, welcome. Glad you could be here. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that bell so you get notified when new videos are released, and hit that thumbs up button. I feel like a record player. I've scratched, but I keep saying, so it's like it's not slowing me down today.
Trying to DJ today?
Yeah,
What's your DJ name?
Yeah. What? Rhino.
Yeah.
It's already built in. Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah. What would your DJ name be?
Hurricane Hannah, I guess.
Yeah, because I feel like I get a
hurricane. Yeah,
Hurricane Hannah.
Sound
Craig,
the
what would yours
alarms.
be?
I think it would just be DJ Cray.
DJ Cray.
Oh.
Yeah. It's all about like being that you want the DJ with a one syllable.
What would your sound
Okay.
be? It's not a slide
about
whistle.
DJ
I will not pull
Khaled?
the slide whistle.
Oh, you know, if
more than one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I appreciate that. Well, that's enough witty banter. Be quiet, everyone. We're going to talk about the news. We've got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. First up.
You know, I think actually.
No, I said
so
be
sorry.
quiet.
I am so sorry. I didn't think about this when we were doing this. We are going for at least this first part of the show, and maybe with Disney Dreams That Soar too. We are going to be going into spoiler territory, specifically with Tiana's Bayou adventure.
So you better watch yourself.
No, that means we are obviously going to be showing imagery from inside of Tiana's Bayou adventure. I am saying this because I know there are some people out there, for the watchers, who are probably sitting there saying, I don't want to see anything about it. I don't want to do any of that. Like, I just don't want to know any of it.
People were pretty upset because Disney posted on social media today the finale of the attraction with a no spoiler warning or anything, and they were like, what the heck?
Well, and that's exactly why I wanted to bring it up in terms of us saying now there are spoilers ahead. So if you don't want to see any of it,
get out.
As much as we want you here, maybe skip ahead later, but
next time
we've got to.
I got an idea. Next, we'll make up a little graphic. We'll say like spoilers. We'll put it on the screen while we're talking about it. For those of you listening, I'm sorry. And then we'll tell you when it's over. That way, if you're listening, or watching, you can just mute it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, here's the thing for me as we get into this. I was super excited to see all of the interior parts of the attraction. We've been waiting for so long, and I wanted confirmation on what I had already had preconceived notions for, and I just, to me, there's nothing I can see on even my TV at home. There's nothing that will be like actually being on that attraction,
Agreed.
Seeing it in a big way. So
Yeah.
I don't care about spoilers, but if you do, now's your time. Take 10, 15 minutes off from us, and
But
we'll be
make
back.
sure you're hitting the thumbs up button before you do.
Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Beat it, bozo.
Don't let that little subscription bell hit you on the butt.
Yeah, that's right.
Or whatever. I don't know. All right. Well, now that I'm going to bequeath quietness again. Yeah, I don't think I said the right word.
Nope, you didn't. Nope, confirmed.
Well, there we go, everybody. We're now in the era of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and it has never been more exciting. The attraction opens in less than a month, but construction walls are now officially down. Not only that, but we finally got the best look inside when the second episode of We Call It Imagineering debuted last night on little website you call YouTube. Heard of it? The attraction's critters were on full display. That is critters with plenty of Tiana animatronics. The highlight is the Mardi Gras celebration finale scene that features so many animatronics, and it gives insight on how video screens are being used to enhance the environment. Spoilers. If that wasn't enough, spoilers. Disney also highlighted the song we'll hear in the finale. Spoilers. Special Spice. Special Spice, written by P.J. Morton and sung by Anika Nani Rose. What do we think? I thought it does look like a big old party here. I did one of those things where it was playing, and I was kind of like, you know what? I don't think I care enough to be like, I think in my head, with how much they've told us and the descriptions we've seen, I've got an imaginary thing going on in my brain right now that I was like, you know what? It's either what I expected or it's not what I expected. But the little bit I saw of everybody in that finale, I was like, my, oh my, there are a lot of moving pieces and animatronics here. And I think that's ultimately what everybody was maybe like. That was the first complaint where they were like, oh, they're just going to not be moving. She's got mayonnaise mouth or whatever we said. I don't remember that. I don't think mayonnaise mouth was what I said. But
Nope.
Anyway, but I think this looks really
incredible.
cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
really,
this
really
is
cool.
Just, I'm watching it on the screen, and it's just stunning. Like, this is everything I want it to be. I will say, like, I don't care so much about the spoilers, but, like, I almost feel like seeing this for the first time in, like, real life, like, I might get emotional. Like, this is just so good. And there were a couple of, like, surprising moments. Like, they show the lift hill, or one of the, like, small lift hills when you're, like, opposite of the drop. Remember before that was just, like, nothing? Like, it was just kind of that, like, I don't know, little like,
It was
there we
just,
go, this scene.
it was that without an animatronic.
But without an animatronic, and we have an animatronic. So I'm thinking we're going to get lots of those.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can see a lot of them throughout. And I don't know. I'm just like, I am so impressed by the animatronics. They all look great from what we can see. I like the background elements that are in here too. I know it seems kind of dark, but it's nighttime in the Bayou, and like when Disney Imagineers took us to New Orleans, like one of the questions that kept coming up from people was, well, why aren't we going on a nighttime tour of the Bayou to see it like it's going to be in the attraction and in the movie? And they're like, well, it's actually, you can't see anything at night in there. You have to have big spotlights on. So, like, yeah, there's whimsy in this. It makes it feel like you're going through a Disney movie from what we can see from the video. Obviously, we have to wait a little bit longer to experience it ourselves. But I think in my head, I had an idea of what I expected and what I wanted to see. And this is it. Really is it. So I cannot.
I think
I
this
cannot
is
wait.
more than I expected, to be honest. I'm one of those people where I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really care that it was getting made over. I don't mean that in a negative way. I was like, that the other theming meant nothing to me, so I don't care. And I'm not trying to undercut what it meant to other people. I'm just saying my personal experience here. And so I thought if it was just gonna be those, like, old fashioned sort of just like.
How they were before.
Like Mr. Toad's statue before you go on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland, or just like molded vacuum form figures that were going to be everywhere. That would be kind of like turning me like, what? I didn't expect it to be this crazy amount of detail. I just assumed it was a water ride and you couldn't do it.
No, I think they had to do that. The static figures will still pass, I think, for more simple rides, but that's not what this is.
Yeah.
It replaced an e-ticket attraction, and this is an e-ticket attraction, so it has to follow suit. And thank goodness, knowing that Fantasy Springs is opening up, and we've talked about that and saw inside those attractions, and this needed to be similar. Close. Yeah, it needed to be at least a little close. I know Tokyo is able to just throw money at stuff like nothing else, so I always give it a little bit of a pass, but it shows that they actually put thought into it. They want to be impressed with it. And obviously, I hope that the animatronics aren't so complex that they're able to maintain them moving forward in the future, because that was an issue with Splash Mountain. Listen, I loved Splash Mountain. The music just wrapped you up into that attraction. Some of the animatronics in there, some of the scenes they created, I felt like were iconic for that attraction. They worked well, but when they stopped working as much, that's when that ride, it all became, well, the music's good and you still have the drop, and what else do you want? But, when Brer Rabbit stopped hopping alongside your log and just stuff felt like it was in disrepair and it wasn't coming back ever. That at that point, it's like, I don't. If you can't give me the ride in a much better way, then I don't want it at all. That's why I don't cry about the Yeti nonstop. That the Yeti doesn't work the way it did for the first 2 months that it was around. For me, the Yeti would be icing on the cake. The point is that it's a great roller coaster at Expedition Everest, and that was just an exciting end to it. So the only thing with this, if I do have one criticism, the area that used to be the laughing place.
Oh yeah, what is this with the screen?
Now looks you have the one Tiana screen in there, but the upside down mushrooms. It almost feels like it's some sort of
those are upside down. They're just regular size, and you're just underneath them.
I mean, maybe that's it. I don't know. There's something about because it does look like you're shrunk down based on how big Tiana's head is. But
what if you become a frog?
Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Maybe
I bet you're right.
I don't know. Maybe some Mama Odie magic or something is happening in there. But this is the one thing where I'm like, I can totally get everything else, but this is the first part that I've seen where I'm like, I think I need to see this in person to really understand what's going on.
I got some questions about this.
But I mean, I'm happy that this thing doesn't appear to be littered with video screens. They told me, Imagineers told me at one point that they were going to be used to enhance, and that's exactly what it looks like it's doing. Just add a little extra movement in the background without making it the whole part.
I feel like this is the first time I've seen... correct me if I'm wrong, a video screen, but her image looks like the animatronic, not like the film. And in a way, I kind of like that because then it is more immersive. You're seeing the same Princess Tiana.
That's a good point.
It's I can't think of anything else that does that.
No,
so it's kinda cool.
it has to feel more realistic in that way. I think otherwise it would be. Maybe there's just too much clashing if it doesn't appear more like the animatronic.
You know what else would make this more realistic is the fact that we're gonna sing a song all. Yes, I mean no, really, we're gonna sing a song all about spices and the spice of life, and other than buying some hot sauce, you give me that food. You're gonna that's literally, I was like, it is such a crying shame that I'm gonna get off this ride and be like, I need a big bowl of gumbo. There's nowhere to get gumbo right now. We'll see, but just put a pin in that, Disney.
Just bring your Tupperware from home. Have your gumbo
Girl,
already in there.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's what I'm gonna do. I think just carry around gumbo.
Okay, well, I'm not going to the park with you anymore.
My backpack full of seafood gumbo in July.
Yeah, he just has the straw that comes out instead of the water backpacks. He's just sucking up little popcorn shrimps.
I guarantee.
When does this open again? I'm sorry, June. I'm so confused with all the dates that are happening because
June
we have
28th.
June 28th. That's what I thought. I was going to say 27th, so I was off. But June 28th, and I believe cast members and annual pass holder previews are just about to start. So we're going to be hearing more and seeing more of this attraction.
Hey, can I brag?
Nonstop.
I get to ride on Saturday.
Saturday,
this
June 1st.
Saturday.
This is Gay Days. You're going to go there?
Oh,
with all the
it?
other critters?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I got to plan, outfit appropriately, I guess.
Wait.
No country bears, though.
Are you going to a cast member preview?
Yeah, I had a friend invite me.
Because I was like,
nice
I
friend.
have an annual pass. I have a park pass that day, but because the
yeah.
whole thing with the way to ride it, if you're an annual pass holder, is you have to have a park pass to Magic Kingdom to try and get it at 7 a.m. And then if you have a park pass to one of the other parks at 1 p.m., you can try again then.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So anyway, we got to talk about another attraction just down the street from here, the Country Bear Musical Jamboree.
Yeehaw.
We got to hear more about it as, I'm sorry. Literally, I got my hair cut right before this, and there's hair that must fit in my mouth, so I was just grossed out for a second. We got to hear more about it as well in We Call It Imagineering. Mm-hmm. Again, YouTube series. Disney showed off some of the recording sessions for the upcoming attraction. The first song teased when it was announced was Bare Necessities, but now we know 2 other songs that will be Try Everything from Zootopia, one of my personal favorites, and A Whole New World from Aladdin, because they sure do love to shove that song in any show they possibly can.
They do.
So Try Everything will be sung by Emily Ann Roberts and is a very country pop sounding bop, maybe even with a little bit of Dolly in there. Dolly! Robert specifically says she is singing for Trixie and will be kicking off the show. A Whole New World is being sung by Allison Russell and Christopher Scott Thiel and has a folk feel to it, and the performers are holding Big Al and Teddy Berra, which could be hints about who's performing the song. Are you excited about that? Didn't they change his name? They're going to change his name, though, right?
No, they changed Liverlips' name.
Liverlips, okay.
So,
Big Al says
to Romeo. And
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I'm still very excited for the attraction, but watching this series and seeing those moments, the first thing that dawned on me that I don't think I've thought of at all in this process is we know the country bears for each of their individual voices that was for all those years, for 50 plus years.
When you think about Henry's voice.
Then you see the recording sessions and you hear the girl singing Try Everything and you're like, well, that's not Trixie, but now that is Trixie. And like, where's my Trixie with her glass of wine that just never spills? It always looks like it's coming close, but it never gets there. Well, I mean, she's alive. She's still part of the show, but it didn't dawn on me that way. And then like I'm hoping with the Whole New World, the performers that we're playing, like I'm hoping they were just holding the stuffed animals that I actually have right over there in my line of sight. Those were the ones from the video, and I'm hoping that was more of like an inspiration thing and not a nod, because that guy was not Big Al in any way with the way he was singing. And so that's where I'm like, okay, I've been behind this the entire time, and I am still behind it because I do think that the idea and the premise sounds good, especially with the care that the bears are getting. But it's gonna be hard to go in and listen to it and be like, this isn't Henry talking. This is new Henry. And it's like when it's like with the Peanuts cartoons when the children age out of the specials, and so like they sound the same for Great Pumpkin in the holiday special.
You got the fellow right behind you there I can't get over his new voice.
Yeah, well, no. I deal better with Kermit because with Muppet performers it happens slowly. With something like with the Peanuts, that's like all the kids aged out of it. So then the next time there's a special, all of a sudden they all sound different, and you're like, they're just close enough, but that's what they're going for. With this, I'm not sure if that's what they're going for, or if it's just like we want to find the right voices to sing these songs. And that's how everyone will know these bears now on. And I can't believe I'm getting this in depth with it. I might need therapy finally.
You're one of those Disney people that you complain about all the time now.
I am.
Touche.
I'm just pointing it out.
No. And I don't have a problem with it. It's just I know I'm going to have to try to erase that the first time I sit down, saying this. I want them to sound like they did, but obviously all the people who originally voiced them are probably very much dead.
Oh,
and well, it's just a fact of life.
We'll
talk about it later in the show.
Are there singers the voices for them now?
Oh my gosh.
What's that?
Are there singers the voices for them?
We
I'm
don't know.
assuming.
I would say surely not. I'm thinking no. Yeah, I'm thinking no.
You think it's going to go back to old school style where one person sings?
I think it's going to be like close but not quite. Like I don't think it's going to be obviously like, it's not going to be the Big Al recording that we know. I'm not convinced that they're voicing their dialogue.
I mean
that's what they did with Aladdin. Okay.
And the other reason I hope they
Those
would
people
is
sing songs weren't,
Yeah, but that's old style Disney. Now they try to make sure if you're doing the voice, then you're also singing the songs with it as long as you can. I feel like to an extent, I guess I'm okay if they do have different people if it's close enough. But I like the fact that the people who are singing, I didn't know any one of those three people that were in there. It sounds like they are actually just good singers and recording artists in Nashville. So if a person who has like really no name out there who then gets to say that they're part of a Disney attraction for years and years, give that to them. I don't need Jason Bateman somehow being a bear that comes in and then someone else sings for him later. I don't know why I chose Jason Bateman. I think Try Everything and it circled around.
Because he's a
fox. So how do you feel about it being Disney cover songs, though?
I'm okay with it.
I
was excited until they released this preview. And I don't even mean it in a mean way. They're all singing it great, but it was that where it was the final. It was like the realization of just being like, I don't know. I got to imagine it's part of the story that they're singing Disney songs, like they've come to vacation here or something. And that's not the story though, right? So that's the part where I'm like, so in this, are they making up songs? I don't know. That's the weird.
I think it's just bears now in a Nashville Grand Ole Opry style show that are singing Disney covers. I think we're going to see their show in this Nashville style building, and I think it's just that.
All right.
Rhino just yawned.
I was going to say, he just did a very good job at trying to cover up the fact that he was yawning.
I'm still excited, but I got to tell
yawning
you, I'm reluctant now. I don't know. And I'm hoping we get some, like, not Disney cover songs, too. Like, I hope we get some, like, weird bluegrass songs, too.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
So
I love bluegrass.
And I don't want to talk about this forever and ever, but
I think you do.
With the original Country Bear Jamboree, that's those... besides the Big Bear Band Serenade, that's the only original song. Everything else was a country song that generation probably knew if they were country fans. And then we all grew up just thinking, for the most part, that, it's Country Bear Jamboree songs. So I feel like in that same realm, them doing Disney songs now isn't necessarily too different from what they were doing before. And I would rather hear that than, hear Teardrops on My Guitar and Carrie Underwood songs and
Jesus Take the Wheel.
Dierks Bentley and all of those. Nothing against them. I just
Lone Star.
I would rather.
No.
I think I would rather just have the Disney
sure.
songs done in a country style versus what they consider to be like now songs that would country songs that would resonate today, like they had to do back then when it originally was created. And I don't think you get as goofy songs, or if you do, it's about
Drinking
politics and drinking too much.
Spilling barbecue sauce on your white T-shirt.
Bears singing Fast Car.
Oh, maybe they will.
I'd love to have that covered in this. That's fine.
Yeah. One more time. We need another cover.
You got me to shut up.
Dreams That Soar has debuted over the weekend at Disney Springs, marking the return of drones to Walt Disney World. Disneyland Paris has been on a tear with the Electrical Sky Parade and some of the Marvel nighttime shows they've put on. But domestically, our skies, they've been quiet. Walt Disney World used drones in 2016 during the holiday season and once again in 2017 at Disney's Animal Kingdom on one special night. The technology has come a long way, and it really does show now. Performances are happening, what?
Oh, it's about bears.
Oh.
About bears. Sorry.
I'd like to hear about it later. So, okay, performances are happening twice nightly on September 2nd and includes 8 until September 2nd. They're not happening twice on September 2nd. I'm sorry. Now I'm thinking about bears. What else is new?
Okay. I just have to say it. We should have done research on who the people were in Country Bears because apparently one of them was on The Voice that we talked about, and Kylie immediately screamed at me that one of the guy is from the band Nickel Creek.
Nickelback?
Nickel Creek.
Ever heard
That's
of
a
them?
funny joke, but country people probably will come after you in a vendetta way. So,
what did she send you? Did she send you that information by saying, "Look at this photograph"?
No,
I've heard of
you
Nickelback.
were awful today.
Oh,
hey, it's too bad. That's another Nickelback song.
Between the yawning and the bad jokes, I think Rhino's getting the MVP for least valuable
it's
player.
that rogue sushi he ate before the show. Doing things
quick
to him.
pieces of a roll, and baby, I'm dying to get back to it. Performances are happening twice nightly until September 2nd and includes 800 drones dancing in the sky for 9.5 minutes, a Big Ben that stands 12 feet taller than the actual Big Ben, a Death Star larger than Spaceship Earth, and a Baymax who is roughly 52 times the size of Baymax. Let's talk about what it's like to leave Disney Springs when this show is over. Baby, it's a nightmare. I've never been stuck in the parking garage really as bad as I have since like New Year's 2 years ago. Not even New Year's Eve. It was just New Year's weekend or week or something. And that wasn't fun. I hope that dies down a little bit. I personally have not seen this in person yet, but I am very much looking forward to it. I've seen a lot of people have been posting on it on like social media, obviously Craig's video, but I didn't want to watch it all the way through because I want to be like surprised about some stuff. But it was, I will tell you, the one that kind of I think looks really cool to me besides the Death Star is the house from Up. I like how it kind of like it's like the balloons pull it a little bit and then it does this little shake.
Talk about serendipitous timing right now.
I don't even know. Holy God, that's so cool.
Like
see, watch. It does the balloons are like yanking it and it does that sort of thing in slow motion where it's like moving up and I'm like,
cool.
that's a nice like. I don't know. It's that little extra touch where you're like,
Yeah, it
that
makes
makes
it
it
look
like
real.
look cool with the swinging of it.
Uh-huh.
And then the way they like
Goodbye.
disintegrate and become something new is really interesting.
Yeah, I thought this show was so well done. I mean, obviously Disney Springs was. They were prepared
Who's that?
on opening night
it
for
was
the
Memorial
crowd.
Day weekend.
Yeah, it was
That's
Memorial Day
tough,
weekend.
yeah.
That's the problem. But I mean, they knew they had the signs out. I believe at 8:30 in the morning saying like where to go for it already. Then, so they knew
Okay.
people were going to come early, ready for this show.
Who's that?
And I just don't. It's Dante.
Dante from
Oh,
Yeah, from
his
Coco.
tongue. It was weird.
And then
Okay.
he turns into
Remember
the
I thought it was a cat.
Alabreja.
Okay.
I feel like, yes, it was a nightmare for people, and getting out of the garages was awful. From what I understand, after the holiday weekend ended, so far this week, at least like the later shows at night have been much more like
Okay.
walk right up and be able to see it
Yeah, that's what
and
I
get in and
assumed.
out. So, it just needed that. It needed that time to get away from the holiday weekend to
Right,
then
yeah.
be a lot better. But it's a hit. I feel like you
Yeah.
have to say the show is beautiful. It is just the right amount of length to keep you invested and really enjoy what they've put on. I mean, it's extremely impressive, and it's free. Like it is.
Yeah, that's
a free
great.
freaking show. at
Free
Disney
nighttime
Springs.
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
It is right now. I believe like this week it's like 9 and 10:45.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I saw a movie the other night, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, fantastic film.
Oh.
And that got out at like 9:30, and it was right in that in between where I was like, man. I was like, I don't want to wait till 10:45.
Yeah.
But it's also it just left, and so that at that time, by the time I got in my car to go and leave, the parking garage was still like clearing out a little bit. So it's sort of like plan around that. If you're not doing the later show, just maybe think like, oh, I'm gonna go watch it at 9, and then be like realistic. I'm not leaving immediately afterwards. Go
Yeah.
do something fun.
Yeah,
you know?
you got to stroll. You
Yeah.
got to hit all
Have a
the
snack,
gift shops you want to
cocktail,
do.
yeah.
It's right. Some of the best viewing areas for it are right beside the Summerhouse, and so Summerhouse
Did
on the
you
lake.
cookie?
If you didn't know,
Could you
did
watch
I
it
eat a
from
cookie?
their
No, but
patio?
okay. It's not going to be a great. It's because it's down closer to the water, but it is still up. So I can't. If you were right at the
You're not getting
edge
the
of
full-
the
you're not getting
patio,
the full
I
view.
believe you would have the full view. But if you were like, a table or two back closer to the bar, you would
Yeah,
probably have an
probably not
obstructed
great.
view. I did not get any cookies while I was there, but I will also be completely transparent. I got to go the first night with Disney for a media event, and they gave me a small version of the lemon cake that we had. Like it was individual sizes, not like the big long one we had.
Smart. Oh,
and
we remember.
that's how they should be selling it. It was better than I could ever have possibly remembered. And that wasn't even
Really?
my favorite one of the desserts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Listen,
Maybe time to go back.
I did have a really good meal there, and the other surprising thing is they gave us all a bottle of their Summer House Rosé.
Oh, how was that?
It's actually really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so what did you eat then?
Yeah, tell us what you ate.
What was your meal? You don't have to review it. I just
not
want to
allowed
know
to
what
review
you
it. I just told you it was all really good.
Yeah. You effed up, baby.
I had the steak frites, and so for the
That's not what you had when we did the review, though, right?
No,
No.
I had the chicken piccata, the
Yeah,
really
with the
small thin
arugula.
piece of chicken. So the steak frites were good. I mean, it's steak and French fries, but cooked well, seasoned well. For appetizer, they kind of gave us. They just kept bringing stuff out. So I had a lot of jalapeno cornbread. Excellent. I had.
Was it good? Was it warm?
The jalapeno cornbread was warm.
Wait,
and
that's not what
perfect.
we got.
No, we got the
butter-
balls,
No.
the cream, the
I've had
puffs.
jalapeno cornbread, and I
And-
would disagree on that.
I don't know. I
Fighting
maybe it was just they were
words.
bringing it out to us faster for that positive review. But
It was warm. Didn't make it good.
I will say,
Guys,
for
are we
my
about to have a
taste,
cornbread show off?
I would
We
like
are.
I would like
off.
more jalapenos.
Get out
for
your
mine,
skillet.
but
We're about to throw down.
I will not
I
do
think
that.
I used to do this series when Steve Porter was here, the Disney versus Universal. But now I'm thinking like maybe there's something there with Disney versus Disney, and it's like the hunt for the perfect cornbread.
Game
How
on.
many places at Downtown Disney?
so hungry
Downtown
now.
Disney. Good
I would
Lord,
say
what year?
Art Smith's Homecoming.
Yeah, how many places serve
Summer
cornbread
Hoose?
at Disney Springs? Summerhouse?
Summer House.
Definitely. I think
Yeah.
for sure
Art Smith's
Smith.
Homecoming.
Yeah. Planet Hollywood, maybe.
Oh,
You-
I don't know if Guy
I don't
Fieri
think so.
likes.
Hey, what about they do that brunch at House of Blues? Maybe there. Maybe they do like a
Yeah, I
gospel.
bet
Or they
the
used
House
to
I
do a
can
of
see
gospel
House of
brunch.
Blues serving it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
We forgot to talk.
Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like we were done with the drones anyway. Go see them.
Guys,
like,
see them.
obviously.
It's a free show. It's whatever. You're going to go to Disney Springs anyways, go see a movie. But you better put your phone away in that movie, and you better not be talking to someone near you.
Better not
okay?
be vaping either. Okay?
Yeah, for
Put
real.
Put your vapes down.
Who was vaping
Yeah,
during
Chloe
the
brought
movie?
this up to me, too. She said we were talking about pet peeves because I was sitting in the front row for a movie at one night. I don't know why I did that. And she was like, yeah, I was, because I haven't only seen so many movies with her, but she's a really good movie viewer like me. She literally sits there, makes no noise, cell phones away, nothing.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, the thing that really bugs me is the vape. And I said, what? And she was like, yeah, you'll see the smoke coming up.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
We see you.
are people just that awful?
Yeah.
And they are. They really are.
You're just now realizing.
I'll tell
that.
them people
Too
now.
bad.
I don't care anymore.
That's one thing I've never experienced at the AMC at Disney Springs, so I'm going to say that that's a safe zone from vaping.
Oh, I guarantee you they're probably doing it at the Cinemark next to my house, though.
Yeah. Maybe the thing is, I'm just seeing quality movies at the AMC Disney Springs, 24 screens, dine-in theater.
Quality movies do not quality audiences make. On a quiet Memorial Day Sunday, another debut happened, but this one was at Disney's Animal Kingdom. A fun surprise of Pixar Fest was the appearance of a roaming Doug.
Hi there.
He talked to you. He said,
I have just met
But you and I really love you.
We didn't include the audio, so
yeah,
that's
there you
I'm
go.
doing the
If you're not
good.
familiar,
Thank you.
he is from the Disney Pixar movie Up. And
He's just
guess what?
adorable.
Now Talking Doug is also on our coast, meeting curious humans, curious
Yeah.
humans, and talking our ears off for what will most likely be just a limited time, which
Can
is
I
sad.
shake
that's
your
too bad.
So
hand?
cute.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, the interaction he had where he was like, "Can I teach you a trick?"
Yeah.
Shake.
I was like,
Yeah, I
it's a
gotta
really,
get over
really
there and do
cute thing.
this.
Yeah.
We should go over there and do a dining review too, because there's so
We
many
haven't
good places.
we haven't done anything in Animal
Such good
Kingdom
food at Animal
like
Kingdom.
this year. I feel
No.
like,
Okay, it's just so hot now.
Yeah, we're working.
but there's shade there at least.
We're working on plans,
And
so
beer.
we have to get to Tiffin's, obviously, because we got to try that new burger. One of us on the team has to try the new burger.
I want to get a
It's
yak
a
and yeti
$30
in Tusker
cheeseburger.
House.
Well,
$30?
yeah,
Was it come with a
Wow.
bar of gold on the side?
it does. And a
all right
prospector
then.
comes out and he said, "Thanks, it's my gold."
It's my gold. Enjoy my burger.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, enjoy that burger. Yeah, we have to go to Tiffin's because we need to
Okay.
review that, and then
All right.
we have to go to Tusker House. So
Yes.
that's the
Tusker
order
House
we're
is
going to.
So dang good.
I'll tell you more off air. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But
All right.
no,
It's
we have
probably
those
only
two
for
on the-
people with kids that are allowed to go, much like the cruises you guys are on, apparently.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. That was
Wait,
shade
what?
on the air. Save it for
Oh.
the after show. You want more of this?
Yeah.
Go meet us over there.
It's
We're
called
gonna throw
Mr.
down.
Bitter, and then if you asked him, "Do you want to go?" I don't even really want to go. It's just the fact that I'm not
I
included.
wasn't
Yeah.
asked, and really, I just like to be asked.
Yet I get to go and stay in a Disneyland hotel villa that probably costs $600 a night.
Ooh.
Yeah, I still have to do the work. All right, looking towards the future of when I'm out at Disneyland staying in the villa. Just kidding. Communicore Hall opens on June 10th at Epcot. That's also not fair because I did pay for my flights and all the tickets while I'm there. So, looking towards the future,
I'm gonna
Communicore
come
Hall
and crash.
opens on
How many
June
is
10th.
asleep? Can I come?
Oh, now he's pissed because he just wants to talk about Communicore Hall.
No, it's 4. There's a pull-down bed. You can come because
All
I
right.
know you'll have drinks.
Yay.
Looking towards
And
the
cornbread.
I'm going to say it for the last time. Looking towards the future. Communicore Hall opens. God, I messed myself up. Starting
Hey,
over.
look, it's Goofy.
Hey, where's the record scratch? Communicore Hall opens on June 10th at Epcot, completing World Celebration and Epcot's transformation. Disney is getting us hyped for the new space by sharing an early look at the new Mickey and Friends meet and greet location that'll be a part of the complex. The backdrops look relatively simple, like any character could realistically pop up there if they wanted, and the video shows Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and Goofy. Okay, so when you said relatively simple, I thought you were referring to the character. Well, the backdrop looks relatively
That's
simple,
funny.
much like the characters that will occupy the space.
Right.
I think
And I was like, he's Goofy, man. You have Goofy on the screen.
He's
a
complex.
single dad. He's working hard. And and not to be gross about it, but in canon, he's the only Disney Fab Five that we know has actually had coitus.
I think you're leaving off the
Oh.
table Immaculate Conception, but that's just me.
Well, who's had the midi-chlorians? Max was formed by the midi-chlorians.
Oh my gosh.
There was no father.
I'm worried that even though our viewership has fallen, that there are still at least 3 kids that watch this show, so I choose to abstain my time.
kids.
Well, now's your time to talk
Go
about
ahead
it.
and ask your parents what the word coitus means. Go ahead. All right. What do we think about this?
Okay, so I wrote that it was a relatively simple backdrop, and I do think that that's the case, but
Right, so
I
you
don't,
can swap
it
people
fits
out.
in. It's just like, it
Polite pig
it can
cornbread.
be whatever you need it to be now. Like, I like that they have the little imagination pyramid in the background, so you still feel like you have some grounding to it being an Epcot, but I don't know. I am looking at this more and more from the outside now, and I'm thinking there's a stage for a show, and you need a lot of room for that, or at least a good amount of room. There's
Yeah.
going to be a place with, where they're able to set up a kitchen in there for whatever food and wine that's in there. You have the meet and greet, and you have to have, hopefully, they are keeping the line for the meet and greet inside the building, plus bathrooms, stuff like that. I'm like, is this building big enough for all these multi-uses? I'm starting to
I see what
worry
you
it might
mean.
not be.
Hey, the best thing is about this? It's a character meet and greet indoors in the air conditioning just in time for summer. But I wonder, because the characters they showed, those are not who usually meets outside in the garden now? It's Daisy. Who else meets out there?
Oh, I don't care. About
Yeah.
Daisy?
I know.
Sorry, you're asking the wrong
Honestly,
person.
I always see Daisy.
I only see
I know
Daisy.
Pluto
Maybe
was there at one
so
point in
that
time.
makes me think they're going to maybe keep doing their thing out there, and then just, this A team is going to be inside.
I mean,
we'll see.
Yeah, that would, if you have those 3 inside and you have Pluto sometimes outside, Daisy sometimes outside, Donald's back in Mexico, I feel like there's
you got
a
'em.
place where you can meet all
Sensational
of them.
6.
So why not? 6? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
math.
I know it's hard. They call it the Fab Five, but that doesn't include Daisy, my girl.
I know. That's
so it's
why I
Fab
did the
Five to
5-5,
Rhino,
and then it's
sensational
the trash,
6.
the dumpster
Too many.
6.
Yeah, it's also, since they announced the Moana show, I feel like it's just been, or not Moana, Encanto show, I feel like it's just been quiet since then. So
Yeah.
I hope everything's still okay with that. I feel like
Same, 'cause I'm
I feel
looking
like they
forward to
should
it.
have given at least like one tease, but also at the same time too, if the space isn't finished, it's not like they're necessarily performing back there yet or practicing, so maybe they don't have anything to show, but I don't know. I'd like to
Wait
know
and
more
see.
about it. I feel like that we might be overhyping a little bit in our heads.
Well, you know what I just overhyped? How I feel about not being invited on the cruise.
I know.
I actually don't really care. I'm
don't know.
very
Maybe we
excited
have
to
a
go to
great time,
Disneyland
and then
and feel
you'll
very
be-
fortunate to be able to be sending out.
Oh, here we go.
And-
People's Princess, bringing it back around.
The other thing too is
Same,
he
yeah.
knows that on cruises you basically don't get to stop. It's actually for a work
wouldn't
trip.
know. I haven't
it's,
I'm a
done a
high
lot
in the
of them.
spa. I don't
well,
know.
think about Alaska. How often do we stop in Alaska?
Yeah, that
not
was
very much.
That was also different.
That was a
situation
different
back
one.
then. So,
But, San Juan. How often did you stop in San Juan?
also again a different situation.
Well, it's just
so-
I'm saying the Wish, the Disney Wish. How
Also a
often do we
different
get
situation.
to stop? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So it'll
okay.
be. I am excited to hear what you guys think, and how your experience goes while you're out there. Because I'm not a huge cruiser, but I do.
Yeah.
I'll talk about Disneyland to the end of time.
That
so,
is true.
So I'm excited. So
Sure-
you guys
it's
have to
your
put up with
thing.
me doing that all the time. Well, jumping ahead to the fall, tickets are now on sale for the 15th anniversary of the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Food and Wine Classic. The event will happen on Friday, November 15th, Saturday, November 16th. Both those days from 5:30 to 9:30. That's p.m. in the evening, not the a.m. The event features more than 20 food items from the hotel's restaurants, over 150 different beverage tastings, live music, and plenty of fun. If you buy tickets for both nights, you'll save 15%. Single night tickets are $195, and parking, guess what? Not included in the ticket price. Sorry, buddy.
know.
Which seems a little cheap.
Awful.
It
Yeah,
does.
I was
Yeah,
like,
'cause that's a
come
ton
on,
of
you're-
money.
You have this super expensive event
Yeah.
out here, and you're like, hey, guess what? I almost said a bad word. You're going to be paying. You're paying for $40 for parking or whatever it is.
It's
there.
basically you either have to pregame or postgame, so that way you at least get your validated for your parking in that way at one of the
Oh, yeah,
restaurants.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean,
I-
that's
That's-
safe.
I've only been to one of these once. It was Bill and Diane had invited me along, and that was like
awesome.
2 years ago, I think.
You've
And
never
it
been,
was
Hannah?
cool.
No, I've
Yeah.
never
I
been
wanna go
because
so
it's a
bad
lot of money.
again. Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Every time I go to Food and Wine, I add it up. I'm like, oh, I probably could have just done that, because it adds up if you're doing Epcot Food and Wine.
I think you get booze at this one too.
You do,
No,
yeah.
you don't get booze. You are thrust.
You are booze.
Yeah, you basically are. You could be booze by the end of it because it starts off as those sampler sizes. So you're usually looking at it like, oh, it's,
Yeah,
you
just
know,
a
I,
little
of course,
taste.
keep going. And then you're like, okay, if I really think about how much I just consumed, that's a lot. The food's always really good, and they're always keeping it fresh there. There's more food than you could possibly ever want to eat. There's more wine, beers, seltzers, everything than you could ever want to drink. We don't really talk about it anymore in terms of the grand scheme of Swan and Dolphin Food and Wine Classic, but I think it actually is completely worth the price if you are going and saying, I want to go to the extreme with this. I want to eat, I want to drink, I want to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's such a short amount of time, but every single time I've ever been, it's gotten until like hour 3, and I'm like, I don't know if I can keep going.
Wow.
I'm reaching my end. I mean, but I go fast. So
Okay,
I
all
don't like I hit the ground running with it, and I get all my favorites, and I try to try all the beers that I'm interested in, some of the wine, and then I almost burn myself out with it.
Yeah.
So if you can pace yourself, you probably would get to the end and be like, oh, if only it was 1 hour longer. But they throw a really great event. It's something you should consider.
I might have to
Splurge.
this year. I know. Although I feel like you almost need to get a hotel room based on the parking and the booze situation.
You absolutely do need to get a hotel room.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's my recommendation, and that's where the stories end.
All right. Back to you, DJ Rhino.
DJ Bundle.
Well, we're going to talk about Disneyland now. Yay!
Yay!
And kind of a DJ of sorts.
Yeah. Well, not all droids are DJ, but if you have that prejudice, that's fine. A new droid has popped up in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. He'd be more of an MC, I think. Known as Bard. The R1 series astromech is utilized for the Fire of the Rising Moon's fireworks show. Here is the backstory. Ready? Introducing the celebration is Tohan Liege, the storyteller known as the Lore Weaver.
Ooh.
Pursued by those in power who would silence his voice, Tohan adopted Black Spire as his home and wrote out its colorful history and the fiery spirit at its heart. His droid, who he fondly called Bard, allows us to hear the Lore Weaver in his own words. Each night as Black Spire celebrates the fire of the rising moons. I had the wrong emphasis there because of the comma. He met and spoke to anyone he could and began to record its history. To ensure that the stories would endure, Tohan found an old astromech droid left behind at the depot. The mechanics helped him get it working with scrap parts and luck. Tohan called the droid Bard, and together they recorded the Lore Weaver stories until there were no more to tell. Good Lord, what happened? They just died?
Yes.
Yes. No, what was really kind of took me by surprise when I went to see the show at Disneyland. I only got to see it the one night. Not to say that you should skip it, but I wish I had skipped it because I love Star Wars so much. I was kind of blown away how this show worked because I thought it was just literally going to be like Star Wars music playing with fireworks, which in essence it kind of is. But it started with this really crazy deep voice narration that was cool. But it was also like I was watching with my friend Diane, and we were kind of like, "Is there someone out here? Do you see someone?"
Yeah.
Like, because you were like, "Where's the
Who's
voice
talking
coming
to
from?"
me?
This like
Yeah.
weird God voice that all of a sudden has appeared.
It's
like
me.
Homer.
It was coming from DJ Bard.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
took a break at the cantina, she was like, well, why don't they have? Look at this jerk who raised his lightsaber in front of my camera. No, they were encouraging us to do that. I'm just kidding. I was one of those where I was just like,
Who was?
They
That
I don't
deep
know.
voice.
There was a lot of people with the things, and they were all like,
With the,
like- I will say
light
the two that
sticks.
raised the lightsaber though, they were a little obnoxious, and it wasn't because they did that. They were just kind of obnoxious people. But anyway, the show
Tell them
is
how you really feel.
really cool, and what's really fascinating to me is how they basically used one fireworks show to write two shows at once. And so it doesn't feel like an afterthought. It doesn't feel less than. It feels like something that it's like, I wish this was always here.
Yeah, that's
and
genius.
If it kind of will have to be reworked when whatever their next fireworks show is following the end of Pixar Fest in August, because it'll have to sync with that other thing.
Well, yeah, so it'll go back to Mickey's Mixed Magic most likely, which they already have that done, because when this debuted with Season of the Force, that was before Pixar Fest.
Oh,
so
you're right.
they already have a show for Mickey's Mixed Magic too.
So interesting. So then this is already the second version of the show.
Yes.
Yeah, that's you see, I think there's something that's like almost underappreciated about that. I don't know. That's really fascinating about that sort of Disney Imagineering aspect of it all. But if you can see this, I do highly recommend it, because honestly, it was like there were definitely people over there, and you can't just stand anywhere because there's like taped off areas and stuff, and they need to keep the walkways clear. But how often are you going to be in Galaxy's Edge and hear them like blaring Duel of the Fates and all these like and I was just like, it was kind of making me emotional, because I was like, oh man, this is that thing that we never get here, which is this like just really
like literal Star Wars.
Yeah, and it's not like subtle, it's like loud, and you're just like and you see the other people with their lightsabers turned on and all this, and it kind of really gets you real hyped up in that way, where you're just like, oh, what's gonna happen? Should we just like steal the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, we should get out here. Yeah.
I just don't think it fits into canon.
Canon's like, what is canon now for Star Wars? I feel
canon?
like, who is this canon you speak
I just
of?
don't think it fits in canon. That's all I'll say.
All they have to do is write a new book, and they'll fit in the
so now has this show turned the Star Wars scores into diegetic music now, instead of being non-diegetic before. Non-diegetic being the music that we hear as an audience that characters don't hear. But when a character hears a song in a movie, that is a diegetic song.
Their world.
So now it has made it part of that world.
That's canon for you.
I hear canon problems.
Okay, get out.
Are you sure that isn't just the Columbia? Because it launches the cannon. Boom, nailed it. Anyway, I'm hoping.
Slide whistle.
Yeah,
because these jokes are just really bombing today.
I am thinking in my head right now. I don't think I can see it while I'm out there, because it's like I'm going to only have the one shot to see Fantasmic, I think, on the Monday. Or maybe the Wednesday.
Disneyland just has too much. Too many good things.
I know. Right now, it is overflowing with things to do. I'm not even saying that in a way where I'm like, buy tickets and go there. I mean, yeah, do that, because it's a lot of fun, and because we've already said on this show that we think the crowds are going to be lower in the summer because of all the deals and the festivals, and so like take advantage of that. The weather is amazing there at night.
Oh, I know.
And Disneyland Park most of the time is open till like 11 or midnight.
Yeah.
And so
I miss those days out here. Do you guys remember like?
Remember they would be like 1 a.m.
Yeah, like extra magic hours would go till like 1, 2, 3 a.m. and that was like the norm during the summertime. I mean, God bless those cast members, but for people visiting, it was great.
That's what I say, as I was basically a child for all of those years, like child, teenager, when my family would take advantage of extra magic hours all the way till 3 a.m. And now that I'm at the age I am, I'm like, my poor parents putting up with us, where we kept them to at a theme park until 3 a.m. and then by the time you get back to the hotel, 3:30 if you're lucky, maybe even 4 before you're settled down, and then pretty quick turnaround. I don't know.
I wish they would bring it back, because I mean, talking about the weather, the weather's not nice right here in Orlando, Florida. It is so hot already, and so I mean, if you go to the park early in the morning, late at night, just skip the afternoon, that'll help a little bit.
Well,
Still gonna be hot.
I think it comes down to it's Disney World that should change their operating hours, where instead of operating during the daytime, everyone becomes third shift. And then working the daytime
overnight
in Florida,
parks.
that becomes first shift, where it's like no one wants to work out in the sun, so we'll pay them extra to be out there and doing all that miserable stuff, and then everyone gets to enjoy the parks at the greatest time. And we all know Disney parks are best at night, just with the lighting, everything with it. So we're on to something. I don't think society will support us, nor will Walt Disney World do anything, but I mean, there's a good argument to be made for it.
I do just want to remind people too about the Disneyland. There is like a really good ticket deal going on right now. I got an email again about it yesterday where it was like it can be as low as $50 a day for a 3-day park ticket, and I was like,
that's wild.
That is less than a 1-day park hopper ticket, and that is for a 1-park 1-day ticket. But I'm like 3 days of that for $50 a day. That's one of those where I was like, I was going to tell my friend. CJ, my friend TJ is also going to be
the
there.
DJ?
It's going to be too many of these
RJ?
abbreviated. Well, I technically am an RJ, so RJ, CJ, TJ, we're all there together. But I was going to tell him to be like, maybe you should get that ticket because then if it's that cheap and you're going to buy the one ticket anyways, like we might as well. Then we can go into the park before we do the after hours night that day of. Cause
why not?
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that week where we're there, it comes out to like $85 a day or something. So it's right on that cusp.
Still a great deal.
Yeah, so we're figuring that out, but it is a good deal. And just so you know, even if you're not booking a whole package, you can buy Disneyland tickets from Dreams Unlimited Travel.
Sure can.
Yeah. So,
you should.
Well, finally, it feels fitting to end the show with the saddest news of the past week. Disney legend Richard M. Sherman passed away on Saturday, May 25th, at the age of 95, which is incredible. He passed due to an age-related illness. The Walt Disney Company said generations of moviegoers and theme park guests have been introduced to the world of Disney through the Sherman Brothers' magnificent and timeless songs. Even today, the duo's work remains the quintessential lyrical voice of Walt Disney. The Sherman Brothers were perhaps best known for their work on Mary Poppins, for which they won 2 Oscars, Best Score, substantially original, and Best Original Song for Chim Chim Cheree, another cherished song from the film. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious became a pop hit, entering the Billboard 100 in 1965, while the lullaby Feed the Birds became one of Walt Disney's favorite songs ever. Sherman had in total 9 Academy Award nominations, and he won 3 Grammy Awards. His impact on Disney parks is timeless thanks to songs like It's a Small World and There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. Did he also write music for the Tiki Room?
The titular Tiki.
Okay, I thought so.
Tiki Room, and then the rest of the songs, like Country Bears, are songs from culture.
Yeah, it was. I told my mom when I'd seen this, I was like, "Oh, Mom," and she was kind of like, "Oh, remind me who that is," and I told her, and she was just like, "Oh, it's like
He's
all
the
music,
guy,
music of Disney." Yeah, it's like.
Have you guys watched the Boys on Disney Plus, the documentary about the two of them? If you haven't, it is fantastic. It'll hit you right in the feels, but it's a good example of like you realize how much they did, even not at Disney. So
when she says it'll hit you in the feels, I feel the movie came out in 2009, so it's spoiler, not a spoiler.
Was the other one still alive?
No, they both died. Robert died years. He was alive when they made it, but he died in 2012. And but they had a falling out basically.
The two brothers.
Yeah, when the biggest part of their career started to dwindle and they weren't really doing as much work anymore, they set it up the entire time through the movie. It's basically like, well, we were brothers and working partners. We were never friends. Like we wouldn't hang if we weren't related. I would have never hung out with this person outside of our work anyway, so why should I?
And I don't know, did they, I don't know that they ever, I don't think they ever reconciled.
No, that's the end of the movie. They talk about how they were both at the London premiere for Mary Poppins because that's where Robert Sherman ended up moving. And they're on the red carpet together, and there's like basically awkward moments where they're standing next to each other, but it's like, you can tell that like Richard just has a smile on his face, and his brother's just like, get away from me.
Even in Mary Poppins, even in Saving Mr. Banks, I feel like they definitely portrayed Bob as being a little more crotchety, and I don't know. Yeah. I do love Bob Cratchit.
Okay. It works, I guess.
But, I feel like it's definitely, at least in my household, it's the same way, I have that feeling with Dick Van Dyke. It's like this was the music behind it because it was like Chitty Bang Bang, right? And he hates when I do that. Chitty, bang, bang.
It's one extra word. Just put it in.
And
Sing the song.
And Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, right? Didn't they do that as well?
Yep,
yeah.
they
And
did.
so, the movies I watched all the time as a kid were Mary Poppins, Chitty Bang Bang, and
The sequel.
and
Just kidding.
Bed Knobs and Broomsticks is definitely one of my
Yeah.
quintessential childhood movies. I mean, I was reenacting scenes from all these movies. Did you know I was gay? 'Cause there were some clues.
Yes.
Probably
Absolutely.
exclude.
Always
This-
tapping the bed knobs, that one, huh? Yeah, I was literally because you twisted past the bed knob. Yeah.
This
God, I
one's
hope
hit
that
me
doesn't mean something else.
very hard. This was probably like my biggest bucket list item is I just want to meet Richard Sherman. Like for me, it would have like if Walt Disney had been alive, it would have been like Walt Disney and then Richard Sherman. Like he was that guy for me. So and you guys have gotten to see him perform. Right?
I have no. I don't think I have.
Okay.
No, Rhino hasn't seen him perform. I think I was lucky enough to see him perform at the 2013 D23 Expo. So
that was before.
like I posted that out on our social media this week, the video from that, because it was like we were allowed to. It was a dual concert with Alan Menken and Richard Sherman, and we were allowed to record the entire
That's
thing.
another
So
great documentary about Howard
yeah.
Ashman, his partner.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful that I was in the room for that, and I have that video now to look back on, and I even forgot. It was before Saving Mr. Banks came out, so I forgot that during that performance, he had BJ Novak and Jason Schwartzman come out, so it's like... It's just I know other people uploaded it too, but it's like my little piece of relic in time to save that concert because he went through like all of the big songs and he was just responsible for so many. Like one of mine being Pineapple Princess. I love that.
All the
Annette
Funicello.
Would you call
you heard me. You heard me. You
Annette
are from the
Funicello.
Muppets. You are
From the
Annette.
Muppets.
You are Annette full of Jello. It's just such an impact, and I like even the fun fact that his dad was a songwriter too, very famous one. You know what song his dad wrote for Maurice Chevalier?
I don't even know who Maurice Chevalier is.
How would you? Oh, he sings the title song for the Aristocats. It's the
Do you know the only song I know from Aristocats is Everybody?
Okay. Well, apparently Rhino hasn't seen the Aristocats. Then you
once, I think, maybe.
So his Maurice Chevalier's one of his biggest song was Thomas O'Malley is also from the Aristocats. So there you go. You got two. His one of his dad's most famous songs ended up covered, I believe, in the 60s or 70s by a very famous person called Tiny Tim.
Oh, Jesus.
So living in the sunlight. No, not that. Living in the sunlight, which then had a second life on SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh,
what?
I'm so happy go lucky me.
Is that the only Tiny Tim song SpongeBob sang?
SpongeBob didn't sing it. It played in the background on SpongeBob. So it kind of got a second life from Tiny Tim, but the original version was sung by Maurice Chevalier, and their dad wrote that song. So
what a journey we just went on here.
I know. I like taking the long destination to get there, but we could have gotten there easier if I would have known you've never really seen the Aristocats.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I was a kid, I don't know. I mean, I remember them dancing on the piano, but that's because I know that one song. So I'm like, have I only seen that one clip?
We got some work for you.
I've seen Lady and the Tramp, so I saw the dogs.
Different movie.
And
We are kind of team dog.
and then there was the cat. I was at All Dogs Go to Heaven. I think I just like dogs more than cats when I was a kid. Yeah, what other cat movies have I seen? There's a Cat in Fievel.
That's true.
Oh, one of the three characters in An Incredible Journey. Or Homeward Bound,
that's
sorry.
right. Oh,
the
Homeward Bound.
originals.
Yeah, Sassy.
Yeah, who didn't love Homeward Bound? Sassy was sassy.
I never seen the original Homeward Bound. Only the one with
What?
only the one with Michael J. Fox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what do you mean, what? I haven't seen that other one.
I think she thought you meant you've only seen Homeward Bound 2, Lost in San Francisco.
Yeah, that's what
and
I was
not
getting
Homeward Bound.
Well,
We had different childhoods.
like Craig's long journeys he likes to take, so is this show's journey coming to an end. That didn't make any sense. But that's going to do it for this week's show. We hope that you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, you can let us know why, and I'll be sad about it. Again, don't forget about Dreams Unlimited Travel when planning your next Disney or Universal vacation. And our Patreon supporters out there, don't go anywhere because we're going to be doing our Patreon post show following this. I will be eating some of that sushi that was alluded to earlier. So if you want to learn more about how you can join in on that conversation, head over to patreon.com/DizUnlimited. And remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget about that thumbs up, subscribing to the channel with the little bell button. You'll get some fun content over there. Hey, and if you're listening to this, thanks for doing that. And when you got time, feel free to rate and review us. So again, here at the end of the show, we do this thing where you can submit a catchphrase you want me to say in the YouTube comments. This week's catchphrase is from Larry G 3038. Here we go. I didn't read it yet. I saved this part for the end. So thank you all for tuning in this week, and we'll see you real soon with another episode of the Diz Unlimited podcast. But until then, remember, what 3 things are riding on the breezes of Storybook Circus? Smelly Fants, Smelly Pants, and Dumbo. Yummy, yummy. This makes no sense.